Today's lesson is a scoop of culture frozen treats from around the world. Hello, everyone. I'm Sam.
And I'm Roger.
And now we are looking at day 2 of our article about different types of frozen treats from around the world. So we've already seen Japan, Korea, Taiwan, America, Italy, and
Turkey.
And now, I don't know, that's already a lot of places. Are there really that many different types of frozen treats?
There might be. I'm sure the Swedes have a kind of frozen treat that tastes like rotten fish or something like that. Or the Russians probably have something. The Mongolians, even the Chinese or whoever. But of course, there are all sorts of different frozen treats from around the world. And we can only scratch the surface. There are probably many other kinds that we don't have time to discuss in our lesson. But yeah, this is kind of fun and it's giving me some inspiration to indulge myself in some of these treats. Maybe I should go to Danshui and get that Turkish ice cream as you described last time.
Yes, and if it's that same place, I saw it also at the zoo. And I tried to order it and they kept taking it out of my hand because that's like the whole kind of show with the Turkish ice cream is that they put it in and take it out and give you the cone and then give you just the scoop and you don't know what's going on and you're like, wait, am I ever going to actually get to eat this ice cream? So kind of a fun little show that goes along with your dessert.
Well, it is kind of cute for them to do that, but I don't think that's very good business practice because, of course, you need to take about 5 minutes for each serving of ice cream. You're not going to sell very much in an hour by doing that kind of stuff, but it is fun. We're going to continue talking about different kinds of icy delights. Let's get to it, everybody. Let's listen to the first paragraph of our lesson today, and we'll be right back to discuss it.
While texture is important, flavor is what makes frozen desserts truly unforgettable. People around the world have combined unexpected ingredients to create frozen treats that blend sweetness with spice, richness with fruitiness, and tradition with innovation.
大家好，第一部分介绍名词 innovation， 意思是创新、革新、新发明、新事物或方法。例如 Our company values creativity and innovation more than anything else. 我们公司重视创造力和创新胜于其他一切。或者 A few innovations in the factory made working there much easier. 工厂的一些革新使在那里工作变得更加容易。
Okay, so remember last time we were talking about texture. We had a range of textures, light and fluffy like mango shaved ice here in Taiwan. And then we've got the thick and chewy kind in Turkey. So here it says, while texture is important, it is true that texture is important. Flavor is what makes frozen desserts truly unforgettable. Indeed, you don't want to eat just ice cream with two choices, chocolate or vanilla. You want to have all sorts of different flavors, different varieties to choose from.
Yes, and that's what makes it unforgettable. Again, you're not going to necessarily just remember what it felt like, but what it tasted like will probably bring you back to get it again. And it says, people around the world have combined unexpected ingredients to create frozen treats that blend sweetness with spice, richness with fruitiness, and tradition with innovation. I feel like that's a very common thing in the world of food is that once you've kind of explored one flavor a lot, you realize, I want to try to come up with something new. I want to combine more things and see what else can we make and what other kinds of fruits and flavors and spices can work well together. And that's this idea behind innovation. If you are innovating, the verb form, if you're innovating, you are constantly looking for new things. You're creating new things. You're coming up with new ways to make these frozen desserts work. And innovation, you hear this word quite a lot also when we talk about technology because it has to do with always pushing things to be newer and better and more interesting and more creative and different and all of that.
Right. Innovation is the noun and innovative is the adjective. You often hear that when people describe technology. Oh, yes, that company has many innovative ideas or they have lots of innovations. So again, we've got some rather creative ingredients. We've got those unexpected ingredients. Like when I first came to Taiwan, I learned that there was this kind of ice cream called Adzuki bean ice cream. These are like bars you could buy in convenience stores, like popsicles or whatever. I thought, what? Beans and ice cream? That's ridiculous. Who would want to eat that? But after I tried it, hey, it's become one of my favorite kinds of ice cream. Adzuki bean ice cream is actually quite tasty. So this is an example of an unexpected ingredient, and we'll talk about some of those ingredients as our lesson continues. So let's do it now. Let's move on to the next part. It's quite long, so listen carefully, and we'll be right back.
In Mexico, paletas burst with fresh fruit flavors, but some varieties include a spicy kick from chili powder or diced jalapenos. In India, kulfi is made by slowly cooking milk with spices like cardamom and cinnamon, allowing the flavors to deepen before the mixture is frozen into a dense, creamy treat. Frozen desserts can also take unexpected forms. In Iran, faluda features delicate rice noodles flavored with rose water and lime, creating a fragrant, refreshing experience. Rolled ice cream from Thailand is made by pouring a liquid base onto an ice-cold metal surface and rolling it into delicate spirals. Meanwhile, halo-halo from the Philippines combines crushed ice with coconut milk, sweet beans, fruit, and even purple yam, resulting in a vibrant, colorful dessert.
第二部分看到这个形容词 fragrant 表示芳香的、气味芬芳的。例如 My garden contains a bed of fragrant roses. 我的花园里有一大片芳香的玫瑰花。或是 I could smell the fragrant flowers that were growing wild in the field. 我能闻到田野中繁盛生长的芬芳花朵香。下面看到名词 spiral 指螺旋形、螺旋状的东西。例如 The artist drew a perfect spiral on the wall. 那位艺术家在墙上画出了一个完美的螺旋。也可以说 Smoke rose in a slow spiral above the chimney. 烟囱上方缓缓升起螺旋状的烟雾。接着介绍动词 crush 表示压碎、压扁、挤压变形。课文中 crushed 为过去分词做形容词用，可以是压碎的、压扁的。我们可以说 Bonnie picked up the crushed petals from the floor. Bonnie 从地上捡起那些被压扁的花瓣。又或者说 I wore a crushed velvet jacket to the party. 我穿着一件压皱的丝绒外套去参加派对。继续看到形容词 vibrant 意思是鲜艳明亮的、充满生气的、活跃的。例如 The flowers filled the countryside with vibrant colors. 乡间布满了色彩鲜艳的花朵。再看一个例子 We painted our house in vibrant colors. 我们把房子漆成鲜艳的颜色。
Okay, so we are back, and as we see in the beginning of the next part, it says, in Mexico, paletas burst with fresh fruit flavors, but some varieties include a spicy kick from chili powder or diced jalapenos. Okay, so we have this treat from Mexico, and it's not just only fresh fruit flavors, but there's also some spicy kick added. If you add a kick of something, especially when we're talking about food, it's basically adding something that has a sharp taste to kind of make you feel the difference between different flavors. Sometimes you even can just say, whoa, that's got a kick, because maybe it's got something actually spicy, or it has a lot of pepper, or it has something that is a very sharp taste. So they have these fresh fruit, I think they look like popsicles maybe, and so they've got these fresh fruit popsicles, and then they might put chili powder on top of it. And of course, chili powder is a powder made from chilies. Usually when you chop it up and you make it into a powder, it adds some spiciness. And so, I don't know, fresh fruit with something spicy? I can't decide if that sounds good or not good.
Well, I guess the Aztecs added chili powder to chocolate back in the day, so I guess they're kind of used to that. Of course, Mexico is famous for its chili peppers. And, of course, you can dry them and chop them down into powder and add them to paletas. And then, of course, you get a kick from that. And also, they're going to have diced jalapenos. So that's kind of a Mexican hot pepper. If something's diced, it's cut into disc shapes. and they probably have them pickled to a certain degree. And a jalapeno, of course, is a pepper that is quite common in Mexican cooking. You can have that on your sandwich at submarine sandwich shops all over the world. And, of course, jalapenos are a pepper from the city of Jalapa in Mexico. Again, these are some unexpected ingredients that you might find in paletas in Mexico.
Yes, and so now we're over into India. And so in India, coffee is made by slowly cooking milk with spices like cardamom and cinnamon, allowing the flavors to deepen before the mixture is frozen into a dense, creamy treat. Okay, so now we've got another type of frozen dessert, and it's slowly cooking milk with spices to make this dessert. And we have these two different spices that are here. We have cardamom and cinnamon. Cardamom is a spice that is kind of in Southeast Asia. And then cinnamon's actually made from like the bark of a tree. And that's the one that you probably are a little bit more familiar with, or at least I am. It's in things like cinnamon rolls. We bake a lot with it in America, like snickerdoodle cookies have a lot of cinnamon. Very yummy in my opinion, but I'm not as familiar with cardamom.
Yeah, cinnamon, of course, is going to be in your cappuccino if you like it that way. A cardamom, I think it's doukou in Chinese. That's probably a better way to explain it to you. And these are some spices that you might find in coffee from India there. And, of course, they allow the flavors to deepen before the mixture is frozen into a dense, creamy treat. So it takes some amount of preparation here. They slowly cook the milk along with those spices, and that will allow the flavors to develop in a certain way. They'll get deeper, they'll get more profound, and then later, after they finish preparing it, it will be frozen into a dense, creamy treat. And, of course, it's probably available in different flavors as well. And, of course, India is a big country. You probably have different kinds of regional varieties to sample as you travel around South Asia.
Yes, and so if we continue on, we see frozen desserts can also take unexpected forms. So far, we've seen a lot of like popsicles or scoops or things like that, but unexpected forms, well, if we look to Iran, so it says in Iran, Faluda features delicate rice noodles flavored with rose water and lime, creating a fragrant, refreshing experience. So this dessert in Iran is actually made of rice noodles, which I can't really imagine if I was going to get some kind of ice cream treat to think about noodles.
Yeah, noodles made from rice, okay. And then, of course, we've got rose water, which I guess is water that is made from the flavor of roses. And we've got lime, which, of course, is a green kind of citrus fruit that can be used in different kinds of cooking. And this creates a fragrant, refreshing experience. It does sound kind of interesting. I might even go to Iran just to try this dish there. Again, it's frozen and it's oh so good. If something's fragrant, it has a pleasant smell, a pleasant aroma.
Yes, and so now we are moving on to Thailand. So it says rolled ice cream from Thailand is made by pouring a liquid base onto an ice-cold metal surface and rolling it into delicate spirals. And I've actually had this one before, and it's very interesting to watch them make it because Thailand is very hot, so that metal surface has to really, really be cold. It has to be, in this case, ice cold. So as cold as ice. This is just a descriptive phrase to say that it is as cold as ice is, because that liquid has to kind of freeze on top of it for them to be able to roll it into spirals. And a spiral is just something that is kind of wound around itself. Sometimes you might see or draw a spiral where you might start in the inside and just go slowly around and around and around, and you have circles that are kind of spiraling around. Or in this case, you are rolling it and making these kind of different long rolled tubes that they put into a cup. And it's really good, actually.
Sounds good. I haven't had it myself. But, of course, soft ice cream is often served in spirals on ice cream cones. Now, meanwhile, halo halo from the Philippines combines crushed ice with coconut milk, sweet beans, fruit, and even purple yam, resulting in a vibrant, colorful dessert. And, of course, we've got lots of Filipino people here in Taiwan working. And, of course, they're great people to hang out with. And, of course, you might ask them, hey, hey, have you heard of this halo halo before? And of course, they'll say, oh, yes, we love it. And maybe they can tell you where to get it. We've got crushed ice, which means ice that has been crushed down into smaller pieces. You've got milk from the coconut, and you've got sweet beans and fruit and purple yam and stuff like that. And you're going to get a vibrant, colorful dessert. Vibrant just means full of life.
And yes, and I've actually been to the Philippines. I haven't tried this yet, but I've seen the signs for it, and they are very colorful, very vibrant, lots of interesting things in a bowl. Looks good, but haven't tried it yet. And so that wraps up our second part, and now we will move on to the third part of the article.
With their diverse flavors and forms, frozen desserts reflect the culinary traditions of the cultures they come from. More than just a way to cool off, they showcase creativity, local ingredients, and centuries of tradition. No matter where you are in the world, there's a frozen delight waiting to be discovered.
第三部分看到动词 showcase， 它表示充分展现，可以说 The convention gives young inventors a place to showcase their creations. 那场大会提供年轻发明家场地来展示他们的创作。也可以说 Carla showcased her singing ability at the talent show. Carla 在才艺表演中展现了她的唱功。最后看到 creativity 这个单字，它是名词，指的是创意、创造力。举例来说 Creativity is essential for artists and designers. 创造力对于艺术家和设计师来说至关重要。或者 The teacher uses games to help her students develop their creativity. 那位老师利用游戏来帮他的学生发展创意。
Okay, let's wrap things up now with the third part of our article. This is a common way in which essays are finished off. We start with this phrase, with something this or something else, then we get this kind of result. So, with their diverse flavors and forms, frozen desserts reflect the culinary traditions of the cultures they come from. That's kind of summarizing what we've talked about. They've got these diverse flavors, different forms, and with those things, they reflect the cultures in which they come from. More than just a way to cool off, they showcase creativity, local ingredients, and centuries of tradition. So yeah, they're more than just a way to cool off. If you really want to cool off, just chew on some ice cubes or something like that. But that's kind of boring. It's always fun to have a special kind of treat. And yes, indeed, they're more than just a way to cool off. They showcase creativity. What does to showcase mean?
If you are showcasing something, you're basically showing off that thing. So this idea that different country will have its own type of special dessert, and that showcases they're basically a way to get to know that culture through food. And so that is what a showcase is just a way to kind of show what do you have so that people can see it, look at it, taste it, and learn more about it. So they're showcasing their creativity in this case. So they're showing off how creative they can be. And if you are creative, you are creating something, you are thinking outside of the box, you're thinking of different ways and different approaches and different avenues to create something very yummy.
Right, so we've got these different features of these frozen treats, and of course they feature local ingredients that you can find locally in those places, and of course they are quite traditional. They've been around for many centuries, and they're going to be around for many centuries after that. No matter where you are in the world, there's a frozen delight waiting to be discovered. So this is probably good advice for me when I traveled before. I don't really travel so much anymore, but when I do travel in the future, I should probably consider eating these kinds of treats. I do like to go to tropical countries like Thailand or Malaysia or Indonesia or whatever, and I'm sure they've got lots of different kinds of frozen treats to sample when you're traveling to those places. Even to cold countries, during the winter they might have something tasty.
Yes, and so anytime you go to a different country, you should be able to find something yummy to eat. And now we will go over to our Chinese teacher, Hanny, and see what she has to say.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第3部分最后一句写到 No matter where you are in the world, There's a frozen delight waiting to be discovered. 无论你身在世界的哪一个角落，都有一款冰冻美食等着你去发掘。这边有2个重点。首先 no matter 之后可以接 WH 疑问词，像 what、who、when、where、how 等等，来引导让步副词子句，表示无论什么什么都怎么样，不管点点点还是怎么样。那也可以改写成 WH 疑问词后面加上 EVER。举例来说，文中的 no matter where 相当于 wherever， 表示无论何处。No matter what 相当于 whatever， 表示无论什么。No matter who 相当于 whoever， 无论是谁。No matter when 相当于 whenever， 无论何时。No matter how 相当于 however， 无论如何。好，那这个让步副词子句啊，可以摆在主要子句的前面或是后面。例如 whatever he says，Don't believe him， 也可以说 No matter what he says, don't believe him。 无论他说什么，都不要相信他。我们再造个例句 Sweet potatoes are delicious however you cook them， 也可以说 Sweet potatoes are delicious no matter how you cook them。地瓜不管怎么煮都很好吃。好，另外 no matter how 之后还可以接形容词或副词，来形成 no matter how 形容词或副词加主词加动词的句型，去表达不论有多么怎么样。那一样也可以改写成 however 形容词或副词加主词加动词。例如 no matter how good you are at something, there's always room for improvement。 也可以说 however good you are at something, there's always room for improvement。 不论你有多么擅长某件事，永远都有进步的空间。好，第二个要介绍的重点是 there be 动词加名词，后面接分词 VING 或 PP 的句型。那么 there 加 be 动词加名词，这可以表达有什么的存在。真正的主词是 be 动词后方的名词，所以这个 be 动词单复数呢，就要依这个名词来决定。而名词的后面可以接分词修饰，它是由形容词子句简化而来。主动的话呢是用 VING， 被动的话是用 PP。 像文中他写到 There's a frozen delight waiting to be discovered， 其中的 be 动词是配合后方的名词 a frozen delight， 所以它用单数动词 is， 然后名词后方它接了现在分词 waiting 来表达主动。 waiting to be discovered 就是用来描述这个冰冻美食等着你去发掘。我们也造个例句 There's a message written on the last page of the book， 有一则讯息写在书本的最后一页。那因为讯息是被写的，所以句子里面的名词 a message 它后面接了过去分词 written 来表达被动。好，那以上是今天重点整理，我们来回顾今天单字吧。
Innovation. Continuous innovation is key to staying ahead in the technology industry. Fragrant. With the roses in bloom outside, a fragrant breeze blew through the open window. Spiral. A thin spiral of smoke rose slowly from the chimney of the old home. Crush. Josie crushed the garlic before frying it with some butter and chopped onion. Vibrant. Soon after the rain stopped, a vibrant rainbow appeared in the sky. Showcase. Perry is looking forward to the opportunity to showcase his cooking skills at the event. Creativity. Creativity can help people find new ways to solve complex problems.
Discussion Starter starts now!
Okay, it's time now for our discussion starter, and the question is, what is your favorite frozen treat on a hot day and why?
Well, my first choice among frozen desserts is still a snow cone from the little snow cone hut in my hometown during the summer because, one, it just makes me imagine my childhood, and two, I know it's not healthy because those sugary syrups are not healthy, but it just tastes so good.
Sounds good, but I can't eat snow cones because I always get a really painful brain freeze when I eat those, so I avoid them. But when the weather is hot, my favorite frozen treat is douhua here in Taiwan. I don't think it's necessarily frozen, but I have the douhua with ingredients added on top, and then I have them put a big pile of ice on top of it, and that is oh so tasty. Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of our program, and please make sure you join us again next time. From all of us here, I am Roger.
I am Sam.
See you next time.